We've had 7 graduates successfully leave the incubator so far. The first was a company called Mary Gober International from Hampshire, who are a training company, a customer service training company. They left in October last year after 1 year with us, and are now going on to bigger things. I see they've just hired a new regional sales manager in the UAE, and we're still in touch with them and help them occasionally with some of our trade services work. We've had a flurry since the autumn. The first of those was probably one of our biggest clients yet, called Cobweb, who are an IT solutions provider. They left in October, and then a batch around Christmas, which included Comtech, Tudor Rose International. Last month we saw Emperor Design leave, and we've also had Tudor Rose. And another big success was Snagger, who are another company who've left us after 1 year. They've effectively outgrown the incubator. They needed to take their own office. They needed to take on more staff. And so whilst the incubator offer is up to 2 years, they took advantage of the offer for 1 year, because after that time, they were doing so well, they needed to get their own office and move on and do their own thing. So we've had seven companies, all of whom are now successfully doing business on their own in Dubai. We're still connected to all of them, and by the sounds of it, they're all doing well and flourishing independently. Leaving the BCB or graduating from the BCB is actually quite a simple process. All of our graduate companies so far have taken their foreign branch license that they started with the BCB, and they've taken it with them. So in that renewal into the 3rd year, they've done 2 things. Firstly, they've found their own office and their own office rent. In Dubai, you need to have a commercial lease to allocate to your license. And in many cases, we've helped them find a place to rent their premises. And again, that's one of the advantages of the incubator. You've got 2 years to work out where you want to be long term, and where you want to have your office. The other thing they've needed to do is assign a new service agent. A service agent is the Emirati national who provides that capacity on the business license. With the BCB, that role is actually provided by Dubai government themselves. But when you leave the BCB, that needs to be taken on by an Emirati individual or company, and all of them have found a service agent whom they're happy to work with henceforth. Snagger is the company who've left us now a year early, or an early graduate, which is a success story we're very proud of, down to their success primarily. As the name suggests, Snagger is it's construction technology around snagging on construction sites, and sort of a device app-led service that feeds into blueprints and designs where there are issues on a site that can be then read and commented and seen and managed by all the parties involved. They've picked up a lot of business in the region, both with local contractors and with UK-based contractors who they know from back home. I know they're doing a lot of business in Qatar. And they've really just, their growth trajectory has been steep and aggressive, and they found themselves needing to leave the incubator early because of success and needing to take on their own office and hire more people. So that's something we're very happy about. Emperor Design have left in February. I think our most recent graduate have probably had a more linear approach, I think it's fair to say. They're a design agency from London, with offices around the UK, certainly in Birmingham and Edinburgh that I'm aware of. Whilst they're a design agency, their real niche is in annual reports, regulatory reports for listed companies, where they work for, I think, a very large portion of the FTSE 250. They came to the UAE with some local clients and really added to that. And it was around, I think, going into the 2nd year and probably quarter 5 of their incubation where that step up happened, and they started to acquire clients, having been talking to them for a year and being able to show that A, their quality, and B, that they're a serious player in the UAE. So Emperor have gone on to a new independent formation outside the BCB, but I understand with a lot, their pockets full of business that they've picked up during their time in the incubator. A third one I'll reference now is Tudor Rose, and I'm saying that because I saw them at Gulf Food in the trade centre last week. They had a stand there that I didn't get to talk to them actually because they seem to be so busy serving their clients. Tudor Rose is a food and drink distributor consolidator from Gloucestershire. They were one of our first clients in late 2014. They've used their time in the incubator very much to build regional connections and ties. Food and drink is a strong story, as we all know, in the UAE, but in the wider region as well. And their man on the ground here has been very busy in markets as far afield as Yemen, but all over the Gulf and the wider region, and with a very strong offer, bringing UK food and drink brands and products into markets. And they're a very successful exporter from the southwest of England. We do see some examples of what not to do, and a couple that come to mind are, firstly, we know the UAE is a popular place to come on holiday, and often people will come in and we get walk-ins off the street, if you like. People on holiday have heard about us and are taking a morning out to find out, and we're very happy to have those discussions, but there's a very big difference from being on holiday here to doing business here. And I think sometimes also people have come here and stayed in the very smart hotels and done all the very cool touristy things here, and form what may be a slightly inaccurate idea of the UAE. Doing business here can be a slow and long term and a patience game. And I don't think that necessarily coming on holiday here necessarily qualifies you for doing business here. It might be a good way to start, but they're fundamentally different things. So to any British company who's sort of thinking of the UAE on the basis of having spent a week here in the sunshine, good place to start, but please come and talk to us before you make your next step, because I think there's a lot of planning and pre-qualification to do before you make that step. Related to that, I think, is an issue that we see where, because it's an exciting place and there's a lot happening here, and there's so much development and growth going on, we often find that, or have found rather, it's not, thankfully it's not doesn't happen too much. Companies can often leave their business plans and common sense at the airport in the UK. You still need to have good risk management policies and practices. You still need to think about your cash flow. You still need to think about all of your, the safety aspects of good governance and of making sure that contracts are delivered and that you've got the cash flow to cover it. But we do occasionally see companies that come in and just think it's going to be very easy. They've seen high-level opportunities and come in and are in something of a hurry to chase those without really making sure they've got the plans and the structure in place to make sure that they can do it, and if they can't do it and if something goes wrong, that they're okay. Maybe the third issue that we sometimes see is a tendency for companies to treat the Gulf or the wider Middle East as a single homogeneous market. It isn't. I mean, yes, obviously there's languages and cultures that language and culture that goes across the region, but the UAE is fundamentally different from Saudi, from Qatar, from Kuwait, from Oman, from Bahrain. They're all different markets deserving their own business plan, their own market entry approach, and sort of a one-size-fits-all approach is very unlikely to work. And it's also quite a naive, I think, quite a naive idea. It's the same as saying, well, why wouldn't, something that works in Spain should work in Italy, Germany, France, and Finland? I mean, why should it? The nuances are as different. The nuances here in the Middle East are really just the same as they are in Europe. yes, there's a regional bloc, but each country deserves its own focus and its own plans. And companies that come in with that idea to treat each market independently and develop them independently tend to do better than those who think, well, I've landed in Dubai now, it'll be easy to conquer Saudi, because that's just not the case.